Here we go. It's week 11 time in the NFL. Let's talk a little pigskin. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we are back to talk week 11 in the NFL already. We're forgetting Sunday of week 10. It never happened. That's how I'm thinking of it. But what a weird Thursday night game. We're recording while the game is still going on. It's closer to the end, but just a weird game. We'll talk about that in the recap in just a little bit. Quick reminder, though, NBA Best Bets video will be out for Friday. And we got a huge slate. We've been profitable 9 of the last 11 days on a nice little run, so hopefully we can keep that going. But stay tuned for that video as well. But let's get right into it, and that means it's NFL Fun Fact time. So here we go. It's a quick, short one. I found it, and I'm sorry, Giants fans. The Giants are 34, 65, and 1 in their last 100 games. That's it. Just absolutely atrocious. As a Mariner fan, I do feel sorry for you Giant fans. In this video, we're going to recap Thursday night, unfortunately, and then we're going to go over the NFL Week 11 trends like we always do. They went 5-6 last week if you just blindly tailed. And then I'll give you my best bets for the day, and then we'll finish it with the recap. If you are looking for player props, that will be out in the video on Friday night like normal. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome, positive community as we talk sports every single day. And also click that link in the Discord because it's completely free and we have a lot of fun talking sports. So let's get right into it. And that means it's recap time. All right, the reason I said unfortunately for this recap on the intro was because I already thought we had a loss with the under 28.5 pass attempts. He had like 23 halfway through the third. They were running a million plays. I thought it was well going to go over, but somehow, some way, Saquon went nuts, and he ended on 28 pass attempts. Now, I'm excited at 1. That's awesome to start that way with a 1-unit play, but I know a lot of people got 27.5 because this line moved quickly, and they didn't get a winner. So it is what it is, kind of bittersweet because I want, obviously, everyone to win, but we did get a winner there. Jalen Hurts, 2+ touchdowns, never had a chance, but quarter-unit play, took a shot. It is what it is. But anyways, there's the units. Nice to get that winner. 78 and 89, down 1.15 units. Not good enough, but I'm ready for that hot streak to begin this weekend. So that's the recap. And now let's talk some trends. All right, here we go. They went 5-6 last week. We'll show you the record here on page 2 in a little bit, but let's start it out. Jets 3-9-1 against the spread. Last 13 games as a favorite. That means you're taking the Colts +4 if you do that one. Titans gone under their team total in all 4 home games. Their team total is a pretty low 16.5 in this one. Ravens 9-1 to the over the season. Just one of their worst defenses they've had in a while in Baltimore. The total in that game is 48.5 and a huge game against Pittsburgh. Saints 5-11-1 against the spread following a win since 2022. That means you take Cleveland +1. Since the start of last year, Detroit is 6-1 against the spread following a non-cover. They did not cover last week, which is a rare thing for them. That means you take Detroit 13.5, 14, whatever it is now. Packers 10-0 against the spread and straight up last 10 games versus the Bears. They absolutely own them. They just do. Green Bay -5.5 or money line on that one. And then you got the Dolphins. They are 11-4, last 15 as a 7+ point favorite. Also, Tua 13-1 straight up and 10-4 against the spread in his 14 games that he's played as a 6 or more point favorite. Miami is -7 against the Raiders. And then we got the Rams 2-7 against the spread in the first quarter. That means you take New England +1.5 in the first quarter if you like that one. Broncos 8-2 to the first half over the season. That total is 22.5. And then 49ers have beaten my Seattle Seahawks by 8 or more points in 6 straight games. It has been just brutal. If you like that, you take San Fran -6.5. Chiefs 19-4-1 against the spread in the last 24 games as an underdog. That is absolutely insane. That means you take KC +2.5 in Buffalo. We got some big games this weekend, that's for sure. So let's go to the second page now. Just some more info for you. Some of them are just kind of facts, just to kind of tell you, and some may actually help you. But underdogs last week finished 11-3 against the spread in Week 10. It's one of the best underdog weeks since 2017. Lions have not been this big of a favorite since 1995. I was 9 versus Jacksonville in their first season. That's when Jacksonville was, their inaugural season. So since 2019, the Bears have been the least profitable against the spread team versus their own division. That's right, 8-21-1 against the spread. Jets are second worst. As a road favorite of 6 or more points, McVay 13-0 straight up and 17-0 as a favorite of 4 or more points. Will Levis now 2-13 on the second half spread in his career. Not pretty after halftime. The underdog in Baltimore Pittsburgh series is now 28-10-3 against the spread the last 20 years. 74%. Obviously, that means you would take Pittsburgh with the points. And the final one. There are 6 teams in the NFL that have lower than a 50% red zone touchdown percentage. How about the 49ers being one of them? They were the number 1 red zone offense last year, and now they're in the bottom 6, along with the Patriots, Packers, Steelers, Cowboys, and Giants. So, as you can see, there's the overall record this season. There's last season's record. Again, that's just if you blindly tailed them. I always hope that you guys just use this as a part of your handicap, or maybe not at all, but I wouldn't make too many bets just based on one trend. So, that's what we got for all the trends this weekend, and now it's time for the best bets. All right, this first bet takes us out to New Orleans, where the Saints are hosting the Cleveland Browns. Saints -1, total is 44.5. I've actually seen this spread be different in all different books. Sometimes the Browns are -0.5, Saints plus or minus or 1, -0.5, whatever it is. Here's the line I got. Here's my best bet. Give me the Browns on the money line at -105 on BetMGM for 1 unit. This is ugly, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know I've done the Browns before, and I said I never, ever, ever will bet them again. And here we are. So let's talk about it. Last week, the Saints were in a great spot. They just were. They just fired their head coach. They came out motivated. It's one of those things that just happens. And then they had the good fortune of Young Wei Koo missing 3 field goals to help them beat the Falcons. I don't think they come out with the same energy in this game, and I think you start seeing the effects of not having a real head coach also. But the Browns are in a great spot here. On the opposite side, they are now coming off a bye after going 1-1 with Jameis, and they're getting healthier on the O-line. So if we talk more in detail about that Saints win last week, which I think is kind of swaying this line a little too much, like I mentioned, Young Wei Koo missed 3 field goals. So Saints don't win if he probably hits all 3 of those field goals. Obviously, you could probably make a few plays for each team all the time, but only one Saints wide receiver had more than 2 catches last week. That was MVS with 3. That's it. Saints offense still has a lot of issues on the O-line. Their wide receivers are going to be a struggle because there's no Olave, there's no Rashid Shaheed still. It's going to be a lot of Alvin Kamara in the passing game. He caught 5 balls last week. Their run game has continued to struggle thanks to O-line injuries. Other than the game against Carolina, doesn't count. Kamara has averaged 3.2 yards per carry or worse in 4 of the last 5 games. This has not been the same running game like we saw or back all the way back in September. So the Saints defense, yes, they won last week, but again, they gave up 468 yards to the Falcons. It's not like they played well at all on defense. The defense still stinks, and it's not something that's going to fool me just because they came out with a win. They traded away Marshawn Lattimore. They're giving up around 25 points per game. And then we talk the Browns. I'm not going to sit here and say the Browns are some elite team. We all know they're not. But they faced a good Chargers defense before the bye. It was also a big letdown spot. We all saw that coming with the Browns beating the Ravens in a huge emotional game after Deshaun Watson goes down the game before. So they got the job done, and then they go face the Chargers and lose that one. So I had the Chargers money line, by the way, on that one. So I did see the Browns losing that. But I think they're going to be more prepared. Like I said, they're going to be off a bye. Jameis Winston's going to have more time to be a part of this offense and learn the playbook even more. And they also got healthier. So the Browns defense, if you watch them play, they don't have any glaring weaknesses. They're kind of top half of the league in run defense, pass defense. They're not elite, but they're also not bad at anything. I think they get some pressure on Carr with the O-line the way it is after a bye. They're going to be rested. And then the Browns offense. Here's the big problem that not a lot of people talk about. Their run game has just not been existent. It just hasn't been there. For Deshaun, for Jameis, it doesn't matter. Nick Chubb has not done much at all. This could possibly be, with the O-line getting a little healthier, possibly a Nick Chubb breakout game a little bit. Saints have given up the 2nd most rush yards per attempt this season at 5.1 yards per carry. And if you look at the Browns, I don't think they've really had a good run game all season. I may have missed one, but it just hasn't been pretty. If they can get that going, it's going to be so much easier for Jameis Winston. So overall, I think the Browns are still the better offense, the better defense. They're in a much better spot coming off a bye, as opposed to a team who just got an emotional win with their brand new interim head coach after getting fired. So I like the Browns. I know it's disgusting, but give me the Browns on the money line to win outright in the Superdome as my first best bet. All right, here we go. Who's ready to be teased? That's right. We got another 6-point teaser for you. We've won 3 in a row. Let's stay hot with these. Give me the 49ers -0.5 and the Chiefs +8 -120 on DraftKings. If you don't know how to do this, you just pick the regular spread, and then you should get an option on the bet slip. And you choose teaser 6 points, and you'll get automatically 120 on DK. It's a little higher on some other books. I don't really love it higher than -120. but it's 6 points in your favor. So let's talk the 49ers minus a half against my Seattle Seahawks. That means they just have to win the game. We've talked about it already. They absolutely own Seattle, especially Geno Smith. Geno is now 0-5 versus San Fran. Purdy, a perfect 4-0 versus Seahawks. Seahawks have lost by 12, 18, 18, 7, and 20 in the last 5 starts for Geno versus San Fran. 49ers just beat the Seahawks 36-24 in Seattle. In that game, if you watched it, Seahawks actually had a high quarterback pressure rate. They were after Brock Purdy, 48%. It was their highest of the season, but they still had 0 sacks, and they still ended with 4 QB hits because Brock Purdy knows how to get rid of the ball when the pressure's coming. He threw 3 touchdown passes, and of course, people are going to be open in our secondary as well. 49ers had almost 500 yards of offense that game. I don't see the Hawks slowing them down or doing anything different this game. Hawks defense, we're literally a mess everywhere, especially at linebacker. Just traded Jerome Baker, just released Dotson. 20th pass yards allowed, 26 versus the run. We're a team that can get beat through the air or on the ground, but we struggle to stop really both at the same time to have a complete game. We gave up just under 300 yards passing to both Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford recently. Also gave up 111 rushing yards to James Cook, 103 rushing yards to Bijan Robinson. We absolutely do not discriminate. We let teams beat us however they want. That's just the kind of thing, the kind of people we are here in Seattle. But Hawks offense, Geno is struggling and making some bad decisions. It's hard to watch. His red zone throws he made last week were just atrocious. He has 11 TDs, 10 interceptions this year. 2 interceptions last time he played the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers get McCaffrey back. All these boys are healthy now. Their only struggle has been the red zone. We just talked about it in the trends. The San Francisco 49ers are moving the ball as well as anybody in the league. They just struggle in the red zone this year. Maybe McCaffrey, another game healthy, will help them out. But the Seattle has also allowed the second most red zone trips per game to their opponents at 3.9. Only the Panthers have allowed their opponent to reach the end zone more, so they are going to have their chances. That's for sure. So nothing really more to say here. The 49ers are the better team. We know that. All they need to do is win. I think they cover the 6.5, but all I need is a winner. So, second one, Chiefs +8 at Bills. Ready for a crazy stat here? The Chiefs as underdogs in a teaser, just like that. So they start as underdogs. They're still underdogs, obviously, with the teaser, are 21-0 with Mahomes at quarterback. That's right. They just don't lose by a lot of points. Chiefs, obviously, because they win outright. They are 17-6 straight up, 18-4 against the spread as an underdog with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid combo. That's just absolutely insane. Teams that are undefeated as an underdog are 8-1 against the spread and 9-0 on a teaser. Those are all the trends for it. 21-0 is just insane to me. But the Chiefs defense, it's just too good to be losing by 2 scores. You guys know that. They pretty much clinched the #1 seed. This is a huge game for them. I think it was a look-ahead spot. That's why they struggled against Denver last week. So, I think people are looking into that a little bit, like, oh, the Chiefs are really going to struggle. They're not looking good anymore, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter to me. They got to win. Yes, it was very lucky for sure. Whether they won or lost that, it doesn't really matter to me. But it was just a really bad spot. Like I said, they were just coming off an overtime win on Monday night, and then they had the Bills the next game. It was a tough spot. But Buffalo, it's a very good team. I'm not going to sit here and say they're not. But they're going to struggle to stop the run. They gave up over 100 rush yards to Jonathan Taylor last week, 100 rush yards, or over 100 rush yards to Mostert and Achane combo before that. They're averaging a lot of categories: total yards, rush yards, pass yards, third down percentage, offense and defense. They've gotten lucky facing some bad offenses. Like, here's their last 5: Colts, Seahawks, Titans, Jets, and Dolphins. And Dolphins was not with Tua and not healthy. So some really bad offenses, I think, kind of skew some of their defensive stats a little bit. I do think they're decent against the pass, but they still struggle against the run. And then Chiefs, we know. Mahomes in this offense, they've looked better. Mahomes has better numbers now that DeAndre Hopkins is back. I think it's going to help set up Kelsey in the run game and all that kind of stuff. But KC's run defense is one of the elite run defenses out there. I think it's probably number 2 to Baltimore. They're going to slow down James Cook in this game, and that's going to force Josh Allen to throw, and they want to feed off James Cook. So I think they're going to struggle a little bit. KC's given up the second fewest rush yards per attempt. Like I said, the Ravens are the only team that's given up less. So these are 2 teams that can chew the clock. I see kind of a lower type scoring game. We'll see if that's how it plays out. But either way, whether it's high scoring, low scoring, I don't see the Chiefs losing by more than 7. I think they probably win the game outright because that's just what they do as underdogs. So give me the Chiefs +8. Give me the Niners -0.5. That is the second best bet. All right, this third one takes us out to Tennessee, where the Titans are hosting the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings -6. Total in this game is 39.5. I'm going to do something different. Let's do a little same game parlay. It's a half unit play for me. Titans +6, under 39.5. Put it together. That's where you get the +264. I know, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. Other than the second bet, the Browns and Titans today is just disgusting. I want to throw up in my mouth just saying it, but the mind and the heart like what they like, so that's what we're gonna do. So Titans +6. Let's talk about this one a little bit. It's a lot about the Vikings. The Vikings offense has been absolutely horrendous lately. It really has. Sam Darnold has looked bad since the month of September ended. He has 5 interceptions in the last 2 games. And in those games, they faced two awful defenses in the Colts and Jaguars. Here's what they did. They scored 21 and 12 in those 2 wins. They didn't even score a touchdown versus the Jaguars. I could score a touchdown versus the Jaguars, as long as I have time to stretch, obviously, at my age. But since the calendar flipped to October, they haven't scored more than 23 points. That's right. And they looked really good in September, that's for sure. But it's hard to win a game by 7+ points when you don't score a lot of points. I know, I just figured that out. But they're now facing a Titans defense who has allowed the fewest pass yards per game this season. I'm hoping they get one of their stud corners back. Whether they do or not, I still think they're going to be fine. But they just held Justin Herbert to 164 pass yards and the Chargers to 300 yards last week. Run defense lately, they held Dobbins to 50 yards on 15 carries, held Stevenson to 16 yards on 10 carries. They struggled versus good offenses. They got boat raced by Detroit and Buffalo, but this Vikes offense is nowhere near that level. I like what I saw from Levis last week versus the number one scoring defense in the Chargers. He went 18 for 23, 175, and 0 picks. A miracle has happened. Pigs flew. He did not throw a pick. Could he possibly go 2 games in a row without an interception? We're going to find out, but I sure hope so. That's for sure. So, also the spot Titans coming off that loss to the Chargers. Bears playing in their second of 3 straight road games. Not the Bears, sorry, the Vikings. I don't know why I said that, but I also like the under 39.5 here. So let's talk about it. I see this just being kind of one of those grinded out games, to be honest with you. The Titans offense, they're not very good either. You guys know that they've just been struggling. And I think these two bets are correlated, and that's why I'm putting them together. I think if this ends up being a higher scoring game, that's where I see the Titans struggling to stay within the 6 points. But if the Titans can play defense and slow this sluggish offense down, that's where I think they can cover and we get a low scoring game as well. That's why I kind of put these two together. As long as we stay away from like pick sixes, special teams touchdowns, things like that just raise this score way too much, because obviously there's not a lot of wiggle room when you have it under 39.5. But I like this one. I know it's ugly. Feel free not to tail. I'm just throwing a half unit on it, but I like the plus 264. Give me the Titans +6 and the under 39.5. That is my third and final best bet. If I haven't added play, it will be in the pinned comments below on X and on Discord. All my player props will be out on Friday night. So again, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. The trends parlay will be in the pinned comments below. Got a big basketball slate and everything, so I didn't have time to work on that. But just be sure to stay tuned for that and in the Discord as well. But now, before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. There it is. Give me the Brownies on the money line for 1 unit at -105. And then the 6-point teaser, 49ers -0.5, Chiefs +8, -120 on DK. Let's stay hot with those teasers. And then a same game parlay, Titans +6 and under 39.5 in that Minnesota Titans game, plus 264. That's going to be a half unit play, and I may add one more still. So just be on the lookout for that as well. But leave a comment below. Let me know you guys' favorite bets of the weekend. Thank you, as always, for watching. Hopefully, this can be a start of a bounce back week from week 10. But hope everyone has a great one, and we'll talk to you soon.